Firstly, Minister, I would like to welcome you back to the Chamber, and I'm glad to see that you're doing well. I would like to take the opportunity today, Chair, to speak about the need, about the link between, I suppose, transport infrastructure and climate action, along with energy as well. The first item I'd like to talk about is the Cork Metropolitan Area Transport Strategy, which is a €3.5 billion investment package for Cork, including commuter rail, bus corridors, light rail, park and rides, walking and cycling facilities and expansion of the existing road network. The National Planning Framework of 2040 envisages that Cork will become the fastest growing city region in Ireland, with a projected 50% to 60% increase in its population by 2040. The strategy will provide a coherent transport planning policy framework and implementation plan around which other agencies involved in land use and planning, environmental protection and the delivery of other infrastructure, such as housing and water, can align their investment priorities. There is a great opportunity here to connect small towns and villages across East Cork with the city, to cut commuter times and, in general, stop the spread of rural decline, which we have seen across rural parts of our county in Cork. That, until now, has been a forgotten part under previous national development plans. Connecting towns in a sustainable way is a great way to tackle urban sprawl that leads to poor planning development and, in turn, increasing traffic congestion, increasing pollution, which are both unnecessary consequences of poor planning. I also want to highlight that there is a requirement to address the need for an increase in public bus infrastructure and to make it more affordable. At present, too few routes go to too few destinations. They're infrequent, they're unreliable, and in many cases they're enormously expensive, which I've highlighted with you before, Minister. And I've campaigned since I got involved in politics to have bus fares reduced. To be fair to Bus Éireann, they recently reduced fees on their expressway services and expanded their services around Cork County. But there's a significant portion of work that remains, and a discussion needs to be had as how we're going to cut the cost of the PSO bus services if we're serious about getting cars off the road. We must also look at the leap card system around Cork County and the green transport, the green fare area in this, around Cork City, which, in my own perspective, is highly unfair. It doesn't suit anybody that's living beyond Midleton in our constituency. Towns like Fermoy and Mitchelstown and Mallow, in a lot of cases, are being completely excluded from the benefits of that, when they could easily be availing of public transport on the basis that it is affordable and reliable. And if we want to talk here about how serious of a problem that this is, I think if you go down at 5 o'clock in the evening to the Jack Lynch Tunnel and you see the stack of cars clogging up 2 lanes of traffic coming home from work in Ringaskiddy and from areas around that part of the south side of Cork City, which much of our major industry in the county is located, is absolutely staggering. But most of all, what shocks me is the fact that there's not a single bus there. There's no bus route connecting up very big residential areas in Carrytool, Midleton, Youghal, and Fermoy as well, and Mallow, down to those parts of the city that are in any shape or form sustainable and reliable enough for people to be relying on to get to and from work. And I would really like you to have consideration to checking if that could be a possibility to utilise the Jack Lynch Tunnel for public transport services, which is very much needed. I also would like to look into making the rail fares more affordable. I was involved in the original push to bring leap card services to Cork, as I spoke to before, on a topical issue. But I do feel that there needs to be work done around the Mallow area on rail fares as well. School bus capacity is also going to be a critical part of getting cars off the road. I know that in my own constituency, since COVID-19 has hit, there's been major problems with school bus routes, including Glenville to Fermoy, which has been highlighted to me repeatedly by local councillors, and something needs to be done between the Department of Transport and the Department of Education, and for a more collective approach between the two departments in the future, rather than the Department of Education taking almost entire ownership over school bus routes, which I feel is an area that really could be improved upon without great effort and great cost to the Exchequer. Also, under the programme for government, I know we were speaking earlier on about the North-South interconnector. Well, in my own constituency, the big project is going to be the Celtic interconnector between France and Ireland. And under the programme for government, there is a commitment to the rapid decarbonisation of the energy sector. One of the main aspects of this commitment will be the completion of the Celtic interconnector, which will be based at Castle Beach in Youghal, County Cork. We recognise in the programme for government that that there's a need to provide for a just transition and enable balanced regional development across the country. And therefore, I would like to take some time as well to talk about some of the measures that are needed to ensure successful implementation of the Celtic Interconnector in Youghal, so that both the country and the wider community where I'm representing can benefit from such of its implementation. Since 2011, EirGrid have been working with its French equivalent, Réseau de Transport d'Électricité, or RTE to be abbreviated, to find the best way to develop the interconnector to benefit electricity customers and markets in Ireland, France and the EU. The project is made up of several stages, Minister, and it is currently in stage 4, where consultation has been undertaken regarding what exactly should be built. Claycastle Beach in Youghal is emerging as the best performing option, resulting in a subsea cable potentially connecting up to an underground cable which will be buried behind the beach. In the spirit of community buy-in, I think it is justified that EirGrid should provide funding for the local amenities in our area and our community to encourage more pedestrian activity, to take cars off our roads. And a very simple example is that one single secondary school, my alma mater, in Pobblesconnor Trinode in Youghal, has very, very poor connection in terms of pedestrian access to the school. They've been trying to address that for years, but no funding has been available at a local level. And I'm very happy to work alongside your own councillors, the Cork County Council, to see if that could be a possibility to try and address, Minister. Our local authority is cash-strapped and have been unable to provide this infrastructure, and this is a very simple way, Minister, I think that you could investigate if it's possible to try and resolve. It's just one example of how smart investment can help in removing car usage and decreasing pollution. There's also decaying coastal defences along Youghall's front strand, which must be addressed to adapt to our changing climate conditions. Given the scale of investment going into this infrastructure project, I believe it is achievable for the Government to assist with this matter. The positive externalities that will come from investment in Youghal would be hugely significant for the area, and it would ensure that the benefits of a just transition are felt by people on the ground. We must learn from the lessons of the past, Minister, when it comes to large-scale energy projects. Ensuring local communities are consulted and respected in implementation of such projects is vitally important. And I fully support the need to move the economy towards a carbon-neutral society. But we know from large structural changes of the past that this does require buy-in from the local community to ensure that it's successful. A consultative rather than a top-down approach by EirGrid is welcomed and very much needed. And alongside this, the commitment to ensure the work with the EU to make community participation an integral part of installing new renewable energies is also critical. Ensuring that there is always a route for community participation in projects must be upheld to ensure the successful execution of this project. And lastly, Minister, I would like to say that the programme for government, there is a commitment to increase the number of sustainable energy communities, which I very much welcome, the prioritisation of microgeneration, letting people sell excess power back to the grid by June 2021, and ensuring that community energy can play a role in reaching the goal of at least 70% renewable energy. And I look forward to the Department implementation of a community benefit fund and ensuring that the community category within this auction is successful. And I appreciate you taking the opportunity to listen to my contribution.